What is good, YouTube, man? Today I'm back with you guys, with the nation, for another video. And today, man, I want to talk about our recent news. You know, a little bit of game time decision news, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But you already know. Before we get into today's video, I have to give a big shout out to my boy Icy Nate, yet again coming in clutch with another thumbnail, man. So please, if you can, go check out his YouTube page at icy_Nate. Hit him with a like button, a subscribe, whatever you could do to support his channel and show him some love. Go do that. But Raider Nation, without further ado, let's get into today's topic. Now, as we all know, tomorrow, big game against the Washington football team, man. Going forward, playoff implications every single week, man. We have luckily found ourselves in a spot where we are only one game behind a playoff spot, and we basically need to win basically almost every single game from here on out, whether it's in conference or out conference. We need to have a record good enough to get us in the playoffs, man. And it starts this week. Going 1-0 this week. We have to take care of business. We have to do what we need to do. Now, obviously, as you can see by the title and thumbnail, we will be without our star tight end, Darren Waller. Now, this will be the second game that the Raiders will have played this year without Darren Waller. Now, the first time where he did not play the full game was earlier this year against the Philadelphia Eagles on National Tight End Day. In my opinion, it was fine because it was the Eagles. You know, at the time we were pretty hot, and those were games that we basically should have won, right? But what I will say is that this game, it's a little bit tougher because shout out to Foster Moreau. He completely dominated the Eagles linebackers and strong safeties that were in the box. But let's be honest, the Eagles second level defense is pretty bad. Now, it's almost a complete opposite for the Washington football team, man. Their front seven is very good. It's not only good against the run, it's pretty decent against the pass at times. They are a very good, sound football team. They like to bracket with a strong safety and a linebacker, but they are missing a key player, and I will talk about that in just a second. So what I will say is that Foster Moreau has to be in for another big game, much like it was last time against the Philadelphia Eagles. 7 receptions, 70 yards, and a big-time touchdown for the Las Vegas Raiders in that last game where he was the starting tight end. Now, going into this game, we will be without Darren Waller, which means next man up, and that is Foster Moreau. The thing is, Washington football team, they have a pretty decent linebacking group. It's not the best, but it's also not the worst. It's miles ahead of the Philadelphia Eagles, and their secondary is pretty bad, so they really try and focus in the middle of the field, and that's where Foster will be doing most of its damage. So that brings me to my next point. We are just out Waller, but the Washington football team will be without linebacker / hybrid safety Landon Collins. Now, in my opinion, Landon Collins is a very good player in this league. He is much like a Jonathan Abram role where he can play hybrid linebacker or strong safety. The only thing is that Landon Collins is a little bit more technically sound when it comes to pass coverage, right? Landon Collins doesn't really get mossed. He doesn't really get beat for deep. He will give up the possession catches, but he won't let his tight ends go for a lot of yards. Landon Collins is a pretty decent player, but the Washington football team will not have him, so they will be missing his presence. And I really hope that with Darren Waller out and Foster Moreau stepping in once again and not having to go up against Landon Collins, a key box safety for them, I hope that Foster Moreau can take advantage of this opportunity yet again, like he did when we torched the Philadelphia Eagles. And I'm very keen for Foster Moreau and having a big game, man. So that's what I really want to say about Foster Moreau and Darren Waller. And I touched up a little bit on their defense, but there's 2 more things I want to talk about, man. And number 1, Deshaun Jackson, right? Deshaun Jackson did not practice yesterday, and he did not practice the day before. But I am happy because, to me, I was a little worried. I said, okay, well, Deshaun Jackson, calf injury, not looking too good. You know, he just turned 35. it's going to be hard to get over these injuries, man. We have a 38-year-old that has not played at all this year, and he goes by the name of Richie Incognito, and it was a calf injury. So I was a little bit worried when he did not practice, but when he didn't practice yesterday, but it was a good sign that he did practice the day before that. Now, yesterday he had a presser, or I believe it was 2 days ago, he had a presser where he did mention basically he was just being safe with the injury. It wasn't really that it got hurt. It was more that it just had a random spasm. That's what he called it. A random spasm, so like a cramp, something out of the ordinary. Now, he did mention that he did not remember the last time he played 40-plus snaps. And as we all know, against the Cowboys, he had 41 snaps played. So, DeSean Jackson, I do think that he will be trending towards playing tomorrow. He hasn't been downgraded to out. He hasn't been upgraded to likely. He's still there at questionable, right? So DeSean Jackson, a very, very key component to our offense. As we all know, we were very, 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 very much lacking the deep threat ability, the big playability, the chunk playability. We were lacking that when we didn't have DeSean Jackson, and when DeSean Jackson just wasn't fully up to speed with this offense. So DeSean Jackson 100% needed to be ready to go for this game. He's a field stretcher. With the little running game that we do have, he helps it with his presence on the field. Him just being out there, it helps it just a little bit. Even though our run game is very, very bad, he still helps with backing up defenses, maybe a foot or two, a yard or two back. So definitely, DeSean Jackson, it looks like he was just playing the safe card with the injury. I wouldn't even go as far as saying the injury, more like a tweak, a spasm, is what was seemed to go on with his leg after the Cowboys victory, right? So nothing too major. I'm glad that we had an extended period of time for rest, right? We played on Thursday night. We didn't have a Sunday game, and now we're playing this Sunday. So hopefully the rest did him justice. Hopefully nothing else needs to happen. And hopefully he could ball out this Sunday. We all know it was his birthday this past couple days, so hopefully he could ball out as his own belated happy birthday gift. So DeSean Jackson, we need you out there. But the next thing I want to talk about is our defense and containing Taylor Heinicke. Now, I never thought that I would have to say we need to contain Taylor Heinicke, but I have to say it, right? Because Taylor Heinicke bursted onto the scene last year. Big game against the Buccaneers, almost won that game, almost beat Tom Brady, right? Taylor Heinicke is not the greatest of quarterbacks, but he's not a bad quarterback by any means. When I say contain, I really, really, really mean him getting out of the pocket and using his legs, man. We've had quarterbacks that kind of hurt us with that. Thankfully, I don't think that Taylor Heinicke will have too many designed runs like we had to play up against with Lamar and Jalen Hurts. Those two quarterbacks had designed runs. I don't think that Taylor Heinicke will have half that, but Taylor Heinicke is very, very elusive, and he's very good at extending plays when it's not there, right? So we really, really need to make sure that we cannot let this guy get out of the pocket, because when he does, he can make the defense pay, man. He is not a scrub when it comes to extending plays. He is a decent quarterback at doing so. But like I said, he's not a Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, I believe, had over 80 yards running on the ground. So I don't think that he'll have that many yards, because, of course, Jalen Hurts had designed to run plays in his playbook. But as far as Taylor Heinicke, we can't let him break the pocket. We can't let him evade those sacks. We really need to get him down on the ground as soon as possible. Now, what I will say is that Taylor Heinicke, he holds onto the ball for a long time. And going up against these pass rushers that Max Crosby, Quentin Jefferson, Yannick Ngakoue, Solomon Thomas, all these guys, he's not going to be able to hold on to the ball that long. So I would love to see how our defense plays them. I also would like us to kind of use the same defensive style that we used up against Lamar Jackson, where we had three rushers, a defensive tackle, and our two defensive ends, and the second defensive tackle is kind of there just on the line of scrimmage, messing around with the offensive lineman and ready to break off when he sees Taylor Heinicke break the pocket or break contain. I'd love to see ourselves do that a little bit more going up against this guy, because he is a mobile quarterback. He's not going to make the biggest of throws, but he does have that big play ability. And big plays, that's big for momentum, right? So we can't have the momentum shifting too much in this game, and therefore we have to limit his big playability. Now, last thing I want to talk about, tomorrow morning, before the Raiders game, 12 p.m. East Coast, yeah, noon West Coast. It's like 3 East Coast and like 2 o'clock if you're in like the Texas area. Me and Graphic Raider will be on my channel live for about an hour or so before the game, and then I will be with him on his channel during the live stream of the game, where you can see our first-hand reactions against the Washington football team, and those are always fun, man. So if you want to see us, then tune in tomorrow on my channel for a pregame show, then tune in tomorrow on Graf's channel for the live stream of our live reaction to the game, man. But Raider Nation, that'll be it for today's video. Like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. Anything else? I don't think so. Love y'all, Raider Nation. Love y'all. Out of here, man. Peace.